Hey guys, Dov here. Today I'm back with some more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. Today we're here with Bretonnia, going to be taking on the High Elves. IMRIK leading the High Elves here today. I've obviously got REPANSE and HENRI leading the way with a completely ground force. Yes indeed, actually no terror units or flying units. Got 3 Knights Errant over here to the side. Over here we've got some more Knights of the Realm and the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. A peasant bowman, and some veteran spearmen at arms. They have some decent veterancy. We've also got peasant mobs up front, and of course a healer, Damsel Lord of Life. IMRIK also got a healer. He's got some Silverin Guard and spearmen in the front line, and Lothern Sea Guard with shields in the second line, couple of silver helms, and yeah, that's basically it. Basically just going to be relying on the spears, the bows, and the dragon. Kind of get the work done while these silver helms mass block. It's sort of the idea here. And yeah, this is actually a patron of mine, Anti-Mage. So for those of you guys who don't know, there's a certain level on Patreon, 15 bucks and up, where you can actually get monthly training sessions with me, one-on-one in voice chat if you want. We'll play a few battles, talk about builds. I'll kind of give you some coaching, kind of my thoughts on some different things. Yeah, for those of you guys interested, definitely check that out. But here we're going to get the battle underway. Peasant mobs can run forward and try and wear down these spearmen. The High Elf spearmen don't have the best attack stats, but I mean they'll still have pretty good chance to hit against these poor little peasants. They're like bracing with their shovels and stuff. I mean, come on guys, that's not going to do much. Breath attack going off against the Companions of Quenelle doesn't do too much damage there, but I mean obviously with the infantry here, there's not really a lot of good places for me to land my cavalry. So it's definitely going to be tough. I'm going to have to look for rear and side charges as much as I can. Here, Lothern Sea Guard doing a nice job counter-firing my Peasant Bowmen. Peasant Bowmen don't have the best leadership, so they can rout them off pretty quickly. Meanwhile, over here, these Silver Helms falling back. I'm trying to pull them into a bad engagement with the Spearmen. I've got the Knights of the Realm over on this other side as well. Meanwhile, I'm just kind of falling back here with these Knights Errant, and we're going to deploy the Companions of Quenelle. There are some supporting Silverin Guard here, though. You can see as they are unbraced, we're going to go ahead and mass charge them with the Knights Errant. 3 units of Knight Errant, all in lance formation, to be able to come in and do some pretty decent damage. That Silverin Guard, despite the armor, takes quite a bit of damage on that charge. Lose a few models there. Meanwhile, over here, Companions, HENRI, and yeah, and REPANSE. REPANSE doing her Flash of Light here to apply the blind effect, and the Companions will absolutely mop up that engagement. The other unit of Silver Helms decided to just detach, cut their losses, and come down here and help with these Knights Errant, which is definitely a great call. The High Elf Spearmen are winning in the front line, absolutely, and they've been able to push off a lot of my archers, but we've still got a few firing. IMRIK here kind of dropping down for a quick hit-and-run charge, pops that Star Lance. Dragonhorn also giving a big map-wide timing push, and especially for like these lower-tier, quote-unquote. Lothern Sea Guard aren't really low-tier, but they have like pretty comparable stats to low to mid-tier spears, right? 52 melee defense actually pretty good, but 24 melee attack with that extra timing push of the Dragonhorn having worn off already. But with that active, I mean, you know, 40 plus attack, definitely very solid. Been able to do some pretty good damage here to these 2 cavalry units, and a very nice pick by IMRIK coming in, grabbing my Damsel and just absolutely terrifying her off the field. Meanwhile, the High Elf Life Mage is helping to deal with this Grail Relic, which unfortunately is a little bit caught out, not supporting the Peasants' leadership like it needs to, but there you go. Meanwhile, REPANSE and the Companions, again, just ping-ponging around wherever they can. Don't want to charge spears, obviously, while they're braced, so he finds some Silver Helms here, and the anti-large great swords of the Companions just absolutely going to munch these guys. Nice breath attack, though. Does maybe a little bit of friendly fire. But those definitely take out quite a few models of the Companions there. Thankfully, their high leadership means they'll basically fight to the death, but don't want to get too caught up there with REPANSE and HENRI. You want to try and stay mobile. Same thing with these Knights Errant. They took a lot of damage on that Dragonhorn push, but now coming around for another cycle charge. Once again, rinse and repeat on those Silverin Guard. Just a nice hammering charge there. IMRIK coming down. And here he's got plenty of supporting spears and these Lothern Sea Guard as well. So this is a pretty good engagement for IMRIK. You can try and get in here and get some good damage on REPANSE. You can see I'm throwing a regrowth on her to restore her vigor and also obviously heal her health. Heal her health. Huh, that's a phrase. Anyway, over on the far side here, these Lothern Sea Guard and Spearmen still holding out. I'm trying to disengage my cavalry and cycle charge them as best I can, but we're definitely still taking damage. And it looks like a regrowth on IMRIK himself as he's matched up against HENRI and REPANSE here. Lothern Sea Guard also fighting. Oh yeah, absolutely beautiful. Flash of light from REPANSE, blinding IMRIK. That will significantly debuff his stats. You can see he's down to only 36 melee defense. I say only. A lot of Flying Lords, you know, that's their base melee defense, right? But with IMRIK, that base 60 is just so strong, up to 94. Another Dragonhorn, map-wide timing push. We were able to clean up those Silverin Guards right there, though. But you can see over here, these Spearmen and Lothern Seaguard fighting against the Cavalry. That Dragonhorn, again, we check in, they're up to, what, 46 melee attacks, plus their bonus versus large. They'll be making very consistent contact with these Knights here. And the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, Knights of the Realm, not really feeling too hot. We do have some supporting Peasants in here as well, which definitely helps. But over on the high ground, Knights Errant were able to come get a good supporting charge and start to break up some of these units that were helping IMRIK in this fight. And now IMRIK is having to disengage. He's taking quite a bit of damage from HENRI and REPANSE. They themselves are relatively healthy as well, so we can kind of disengage them. But balance power is still very close after 6 minutes of slugging. This this Grail Relic is still holding out, or was at least. It's now absolutely dead, but was holding out just fine against the Mage. Speaking of which, my Mage was able to get back. As you saw, we had that nice regrowth, and here I was just about to cast another regrowth, trying to get into range, and she shattered. So, no more Winds of Magic for me. That's not the best, but we'll see how we can do in the late game. The High Elves are starting to run a little bit low on model count here, as we're able to finally break up some of these various units. They're still a relatively healthy unit of Spearmen, though, so you can see IMRIK coming over here to try and fight on top of these Knights of the Realm to help finish off those Spearmen, right? Fight with support. Also a handful of Silverin Guard over here and Spearmen, along with some Lothern Seaguards. So the High Elves definitely still have quite a few tools left. Me, got a handful of tattered Peasant Bowmen with not very much ammo left. But these Knights Errant, very critical in this late game here, along with the Knights of the Realm. Just providing that nice massive bodies to kind of cycle charge, ping-pong around between different targets. See the Peasant mobs running in to just kind of keep those Elves over there on the far side occupied, keep tiring them out. Make sure they stay exhausted. And meanwhile, HENRI and REPANSE just kind of hanging out here in the center, mirroring IMRIK wherever he goes. We want to try and countercharge him on the ground. So yeah, pretty good stuff. The Spearmen still holding out just fine here, but the Knights of the Realm are just about, or Knights Errant rather, just about able to break off the High Elf Mage. Unfortunately, she does hold a leadership. Obviously, Elves have pretty good leadership, but you can see, again, once IMRIK is on the ground, that means it's countercharge time, so we're bringing in the Companions. And REPANSE as well. HENRI in there with his glowing sword. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and peel off. IMRIK still has quite a bit of HP, and I don't necessarily want to sit and fight here for too long. I do want to try and finish off some of these other targets if I can. And again, like these supporting kind of spears over here, try and block them from getting back over here to help kind of reunify all their forces together, right? Like we've got these Spearmen here. The Life Mage as well coming over to disrupt some of my archers. Now getting ourselves singled out a little bit here. So we want to try and take advantage of targets of opportunity anywhere we can. IMRIK's back up in the air. Pretty low on HP though, and to have to fight both HENRI and REPANSE together on the ground is going to be tough. But yeah, this could be the end. Yep, most likely the end of the Life Mage there. We'll see if IMRIK decides to pop down. He does actually land there, potentially a risky land, as both HENRI and REPANSE are here and can help support each other. Will this be the end for the High Elves? We'll see. Unfortunately, it looks like he's able to just about save that mistake. It does actually manage to pop back up in the air. I was a little bit late sweeping over with these other cav to try and keep him pinned on the ground. Bounce power is pretty well in my favor at this point, but I mean, IMRIK, he just needs a couple of attacks to take out my lords, realistically, especially with the Dragonhorn active, so I want to try and be as careful as I can. We're going to come in here to these spears and try and you know, just keep working away at these infantry units. Don't want to stay in combat too long, though, so just a quick hit and run. We've got some supporting infantry over here, and unfortunately, most of my ground cavalry, it's basically just REPANSE and HENRI and, what, like 3 or 4 companions left? We'll get in close. 3 companions. Looks like they decided to skedaddle. That's fine. There's only 51 HP between the 3 of them. But that means I do have to face a lot of these High Elf spears, potentially without much support, because the supporting peasants here not doing too hot in terms of their leadership, but we do have a handful of those Knights Errant back from route over there. The Flash as well gives me a nice way to debuff stats and do a little bit of AoE damage to these spears, so very, very close here. A full-on 10 minutes of slugging back and forth. Yeah, IMRIK decides to actually land on the peasants to try and terrify them away, just get rid of all the support here. And the Knights Errant also likely going to be terrified away as well. But that means HENRI is able to cut loose. And if he can countercharge IMRIK on the ground, that will be absolutely devastating. Looks like IMRIK's realizing this, trying to pull away from those Knights Errant. That also pulls REPANSE away, but here we go. A nice Knights Errant charge into the Silverin Guard in this late game. Handful of Silverin Guard and Spearmen still left. I believe that actually shatters the High Mage, yep, or the Life Mage rather. She actually shatters there. The Spearmen route, so it's just now these 52 Silverin Guard, and thankfully I have these Peasant Bows, trusty, faithful Peasant Bowmen that have stuck around until the late game, giving me some kind of anvil to now hammer home a charge. REPANSE and HENRI coming in. IMRIK gonna do his best to try and save the situation. Maybe. Thought he was gonna drop down here. Oh, there he goes. It's a good charge. Probably will terrify away these troops here, but will it lead to army losses for the High Elves? It looks like actually the Silverin Guard do manage to hold their leadership Dragonhorn active. Yep, Dragonhorn, the final Dragonhorn active, melee attack buff. So can IMRIK do it? Looks like he's unfortunately turned around at the moment, not actually facing towards HENRI and REPANSE. He takes a couple hits, and it actually leads to army losses here, unfortunately. So a beautiful effort. A great game from Anti-Mage, super, super close there at the end. And yeah, fun builds on both sides. I don't know, I do think that this High Elf build is potentially pretty potent. Some people would say you want to bring High Magic just in case, although most Bretonnia players probably won't bring too many flying units in this matchup because High Elves can really outclass you in the air very heavily with Tempest and with other spells, but obviously Silverin Guard with the magic resistance, armor, and charge defense and spears and everything do great against a lot of different Bretonnian troops, especially the Grail tier units. Yeah, Spearmen obviously, Author and Sea Guard, especially with shields that don't get countershot too much by peasants. And like I mentioned, the Silver Helms kind of help block. Actually, I like this build quite a bit. I might use this High Elf build a little bit myself against Bretonnia, but on the flip side, I think this actually worked out okay from my perspective. Had plenty of numbers. I do like the veteran kind of core of Spearmen-at-Arms. It just gives them a little bit more leadership and staying power, and actually pretty cost-effective, I think. That's something I plan on doing more in the future. Likewise, Knights Errant, super cost-effective in this matchup. Just those side and rear charges on any Elf infantry units are going to be very effective, especially in Lance formation for that extra charge bonus. Companions as well, mopping up 100 kills, doing quite a bit of damage to various high-value targets. Just an absolute powerhouse unit, as long as they don't get stepped on too hard. And yeah, HENRI and REPANSE doing their thing. What else? Yeah, I mean, just good kill totals across the board, as you would expect for Bretonnia, or against Bretonnia, rather, for the High Elves. All those peasants and everything. But yeah, super fun game. Very well played to Noldar here, aka Anti-Mage. If you guys want some one-on-one training with me, go ahead and check out my Patreon. Otherwise, be sure to like and subscribe for more awesome Total War Warhammer multiplayer content. Thank you once again, and we'll see you next time.